What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to LockettTech. Have you ever wondered why your trunk can do this, but your frunk does this? That's because Tesla never installed power struts in the frunk. Why? Especially on a $60,000 car? I don't know, but we've got you covered, and we're gonna show you how you can turn your frunk into the power tool that your trunk is. So today, guys, we are going to cover how to turn your frunk into the Power Frunk. Thank you very much to the fine folks over at Hansshow Power Frunks. They are the leaders in turning your frunk into a Power Frunk. In fact, you guys recommended them in one of our last videos where we were talking about some of the best accessories that you can get. I don't know how often you use your frunk, but we use ours pretty often. We use our frunk as kind of a regular place for us to store some of our stuff that we use pretty regularly, but not necessarily on a daily basis. Let's show you. So we keep some of our folding chairs right here, so they're always easily accessible. And then we also keep some clothing in here. We keep some hoodies, some jackets, things like that in here. So when we go out and we go to a place randomly, we have this stuff stored in here all the time, but we're not taking up space in our regular trunk. So we do go in here, in and out very regularly. Now, as you guys know, there's a very special way you have to close the frunk. You have to bring it down, right? And then they tell you in the Tesla manual that you're supposed to put your hand over the T logo and then gently press down in order to do it. If you just slam it down like you do on a normal car, well, you're gonna destroy your hood. It'd be so much nicer if you didn't have to worry about any of that, especially if you're sending a child out to go in there and you didn't have to worry about whether or not they're wrecking your hood. The Power Frunk just makes so much more sense. Why don't we go take a quick look at what we got? I know you guys are wondering right now, Chris, where in the world are you? You're not in your front driveway like you are in every other video that you do. Well, we, again, hooked up with the man himself, Graham Menard. He was nice enough to bring us in to this huge storage facility he's got with these amazing cars right here, all part of his latest venture, Car Heads Auto Group. Now, not only can Grant absolutely take your car and make it look amazing and fully protected, but he can hook you up with the car in the first place. Go ahead and make sure to check him out. Thank you so much, Grant, for hooking us up with some inside space so we don't have to work in the freezing cold all the time. Check it out, Car Heads Auto Group. You can get some information from them through Menard's Premium Detailing or check them out on Facebook. Here we have everything that you get when you purchase the Hansshow Power Frunk, as well as all the tools that you're gonna need in order to do the job. If you guys are regular viewers of the channel, you know that my install skills on things, well, they're a little challenged. So we brought help today. Let me introduce you to one of the handiest guys I know. His name is Eric. I call him Spike. So when you hear me say, hey Spike, let's do that, you know what's going on. That guy right there.
Hey guys, how are you?
He's a Tesla enthusiast himself. What car do you have?
I have a Model 3 long range.
He also has gone through a few other cars as well, right? You had a Golf R?
I did.
That you did a lot of work to?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so Spike is gonna be helping us out here. I wanna rage quit, so. He'll be here to kind of help guide us through it.
I'll try to keep things on the rails here.
Yeah, that's a challenge. Let's take a quick look at the things that you get when you open up the box. They give you this really cool, really colorful, and completely confusing instruction sheet to use, which, yeah, no, we're not about that. So let's take a look at everything else though. Don't be intimidated by all the stuff that's in here. There's a lot of wiring harnesses and things like that. Don't be intimidated by it. It's not as bad as it seems, and you're gonna see that as we kind of get into it. So you get, this is the main wire harness here. This is what we're gonna be plugging into everything, and they make it super easy because they give you easy tap-ins to get into all the current systems that we're gonna need to under the frunk. So it's not like we have to solder or really do any type of heavy lifting. It's all tap-ins, which makes things really easy. This is the motor right here that comes to the struts, which are right here, and these are the wires for the struts. We have zip ties and other bolts and washers that we're going to need. This is the module itself. Now, the version we have is version 5. They've been increasing the versions over the past 2 years to improve them. The first and second, I don't believe, were waterproof. Now they are totally waterproof. They're good to go. They're completely sealed up. These are the basic tools that you're going to need. You're going to want a wrench set with you. You're going to want a trim removal tool just to kind of help out with some of the frunk pieces. You're going to want a socket set with you. You are going to want an Allen wrench. You're going to want a pair of either pliers or needle nose pliers. You're going to want a flat head screwdriver as well as a pair of snips in order to trim off some of the excess of the zip ties that we're going to have in here. Without any further ado, why don't we just jump right into it? And if nothing else, I'm sure this video will be pretty entertaining to see how this goes. Let's go. Alright guys, so the first thing that we got to do is we got to take the frunk out itself. The airbox cover is really easy. It just pops right out. There's just clips in here. So we're just going to go ahead and unclip it all and then set it aside. Next is the frunk that we want to take out. Now there are 5 bolts. 4, 5, what is my hand doing? There are 5 bolts that we have to take out in order to take this piece out. There's 2 down here in the bucket itself. There's 2 up here in the front. And then there's a 5th one that isn't really a bolt. It's just a pop clip that's right here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna leave these bolts right in here just so we don't lose them. The last thing you gotta do is this button right here. This is the emergency release button. So if somebody ever came up behind you, threw you in, maybe a brother, you know, a sibling, thought it'd be funny to stick you in the frunk, there's an emergency button right here that's lit up that you can press and it's automatically going to release the frunk so you can get out. There's a trim panel piece that's over this that we have to pop out, and then we have to unplug the button itself, and then that'll enable us to go ahead and pull this out. This is real easy. There's just 3 clips along the top of this, and then the bottom just has slots that slide into place. So we really only have to release the top clips. There they are. Then it slides right up and out, and there we go. Here's our cord that we just have to release. Put the wires on the side, just kind of wiggle it back and forth, and it comes right out. So there you go. And now the frunk is free to just pop right up and right out. And there's what the inside of the front end looks like under the frunk. The next thing that we have to do is we have to remove the struts themselves, the current struts that are on there. We have to take them off the side of the hoods, and then we'll put the power struts on in its place. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is a little hard of a tight space to film in, so we'll do the best we can to kind of show you guys what we're doing here. So here's the strut right here. That's what we got to take out. Now, if you look from up top, this is where the top connects for the top portion, and then down here on the bottom you'll see it's connected down to that bolt right down there. So these are actually pretty easy to take off. We're actually only going to remove the top one. The bottom one, we have to remove that bolt that it's attached to anyway. So we're just going to remove the bolt and take the whole thing out. The top one right here, there's a clasp on the end of it that we're just going to use a flathead screwdriver in. It should release it, so then we can go ahead and take it right out. We were able to get the top strut off of that piece there. What you then have to do is you have to remove it from the bottom. I just went ahead and I started to unscrew the bolt so we could just take it all out in one piece. Now all you have to do is really just get it loosened with the wrench, and then you can unscrew it by hand the rest of the way. There we go. And the whole thing pops out. Nice work. Here's one of the ones that we took off already. This ring that goes around the back end of it, this is the part that it popped onto the bolt on the hood. This ring back here, there's a little slot right in the top of it. See if I can get some good lighting here to show you. Right there at the top. You're gonna stick a flathead screwdriver in that's really small. This little slit that's right there, you're gonna stick the screwdriver into it, and then it releases the spring. As you guys can see, there's like a spring there. It releases it, and when that's open and you can see a little bit of space between there, you can go ahead and put some pressure to pull it off, and it pops right off. First, you have to install the bracket into where we just took the bolt out that held in the previous strut. Now, this has the same little ball head on there to hold the strut into. It'll snap right in once we get this installed, but this gives it a whole lot more support because these edges right here are actually going to be sitting up against the supports in there, so it's going to give it a lot of stability and make sure it all stays good. And then you have a bolt with a washer. You're just going to pop that in like that, and then this is what you're going to screw in. So we're going to set this in. I'm going to screw it in, hand tighten it first, and then I'll grab the Allen wrench and we'll tighten it up. Yeah, supports are up against. That looks pretty good.
All right.
This piece right there, that's the new bracket for the power strut. Just want to make sure that those flaps up and down are braced up against the edges, and then that bolt, you go ahead and hand tighten it in. This is your new power strut. It has the wiring on the back end of it. The part with the wires sticking out, that's the bottom, so we're gonna feed it in this way. And then you also want to make sure that these circles here on both ends, that they are facing opposite of each other. So the bottom end is gonna face towards the car, and that's gonna snap in, and the top end is gonna face towards the inside of the car, and then that'll snap right on. So in order to first do it though, we got to feed these wires in. So we're just going to feed them into that little hole that's right up here. You're going to feed them in. We're just going to leave them hanging out in the middle of the frunk, and now we can go ahead and pop this sucker in there. I guess I'm going to start with the bottom first, and then we'll move it up to get the top. All right guys, we got the new power strut in there. Like I said, you just connect it onto the bottom first, and then I lifted the hood up a little bit to give me a little bit more space, and I connected the top one, which you see right there. It was really easy. The hardest part is honestly just getting your hand in a position where you can get some leverage to really give it a little bit of force to just let it pop on. Now that's go do the driver's side.
Looks like a mess.
Yeah, driver's side is super, super tight, guys. You have like very minimal room to work with in there. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. So the next part of the process is we gotta go ahead and take off the latch assembly here. The first thing we gotta do is we gotta remove this plug here, pull the release tab, and it comes right out. Just pull that tab right out, and then this pops right off. Now, the one thing that we're gonna wanna do, and this is a little pro tip, is from the non-pro, is over here, when we take this assembly off, we're gonna eventually have to put it back on. And you can spend literally hours trying to realign this if you don't line it up correctly. On the edges here, take a Sharpie marker and put some markings down, so when we go to put this back on, we can line it up with our markings, and it should give us a pretty good starting point for when we go to line up the latch assembly again. And if you're wondering, Spike's dealing with the nightmare of the driver's side situation. He's trying to get that other brace on. So you're just gonna take a Sharpie and draw an outline just so you can reference back. So now we've got our lines drawn right there, and again over on this side. Now we just need to remove this bolt, and the latch assembly comes right off, and we can apply the new motorized one, which is going to kind of slide in right behind it. That makes everything possible. So let's go ahead and remove this bolt and that bolt. That spring that you just saw me release right there, that was on this pin. You could use some needle nose pliers. You just grab it, lift it up over, so that way it's not resting on that pin anymore, because the new assembly, there's a plastic piece that's gonna roll right on there that works with the mechanism, and then we're gonna put that pin back over top. We're gonna put the spring back over top of the pin again. This is the motor and new latch assembly that's going to work in conjunction with your current one. This is just gonna sit over here in this little cavity over in the corner right here on the driver's side. And then the latch, the new latch part, this is actually gonna sit and work together with this piece right here. This comes right in and it sits right on top. You'll see the holes line up. It just wants to be together. And then this little piece right here, this is actually going to go on that pin that we freed up by taking that spring off. That little hole, that's gonna go right, and it's gonna sit right in there, just like that. And then that is the mechanical piece that allows this to unlatch and latch again. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the spring back over under the pin. That keeps this piece locked in, and then it reattaches everything all over again. There we have it here. The spring is back. That's the clip that comes on the new assembly that's on the back end of this. You go ahead and you put that clip on there, you bring the spring back, and then this little solenoid that's right here, you want that to rest behind the spring clip that goes on the pin. If it goes in front, then the pin can't sit correctly, and it'll eventually slip over time. So by putting it back here, it keeps it locked in place against here, so you're good to go. So now we just need to run the emergency pull wire, and then we're good to put this assembly back. This is the emergency pull wire. This simply clips in right here. Just clips right on. So when we're putting the assembly back in, it comes with these bolts with a washer and a black spacer on there. You want to go ahead and you want to put the washer against the back end of the bolt. Then the spacer is going to go up flush against it. Now we're going to run that emergency cable that we connected right here. We're going to run that down all the way into that emergency tow hook. To pop out the emergency port right here, it's really easy. You just go to the 2 o'clock position and then you push in and it pops it here, and then you can pull it right out. You'll see there's already emergency access cables right there. We're going to now run that wire. It fishes all the way into that little hole right there and then comes out here. So all we're going to do is we're just going to zip tie it on here to the existing wire, so that way it's easily accessible should an emergency happen. So first thing we need to do before we start plugging in all the wires is we need to make sure that this hook right here lines up to this right here. This is where we want to check those lines that we drew. Those purple lines, we got to finagle everything so it matches up as best as we can, and then we'll slowly bring it down and take a look.
In hindsight, I think a silver or white Sharpie would probably have been best.
Agreed. What we want to do is we want to make sure that this right here lines up with that little V that you can see right there. These two pieces. This is the mechanical trigger, and then this is the one for the actual lock for the car. You want to make sure it's going to go right in there. So you want to try and close it up as best you can, but you don't want to close it all the way because then you got no way to go in. I think that actually lines up really good. What do you think?
We did something right.
I think we did. That actually looks like it's dead center. So now we can grab the wire harness and we'll start connecting some of the wires. When you first unwind this, you're looking at like 1,000 different wires. I know, it looks a little intimidating. This is going to end up going into the main module, so everything comes to here, the main harness. That's going to plug into the main module when we get there. First, we're going to connect. We're going to start with the struts. So one goes to one side, which is, this is our strut wire right here for the driver's side. So that goes right in there. Boom, clips. Heard the nice clickies, so we're good on that side. Now we're going to connect the other side. Very idiot proof. Why do I always say things before it's done? There we go. Alright, so the struts are now plugged in. You can see this one has the fuse on it. This is what we're going to run to our main power on the terminal battery. This one we're going to run for your ground. And for our ground, you could connect it to the negative on the battery. However, it's not really recommended. Tesla has two really easy to access ground connections over here on the inside of the driver's side fender, right here and here. We're going to clip it to this one. This one looks pretty nice and open. So we're just going to unbolt that. We're going to loosen that up a little bit, sneak this right under there, and then it will be grounded. Tap-ins are super easy because it doesn't involve soldering. So this is the tap-in for up here for the mechanism that opens everything. So you're going to take the original Tesla one, you're going to plug it into the tap-in here. Now make sure after you plug it in, the red clip, make sure you close it to lock it in. Because if you don't do that, it's not locked, it can come out. Then we're going to take the other side from Hansshows and we're going to plug it in up here. Again, plug in that safety clip so that way it's nice and locked. All right, we're good there. There is one more tap-in on the other side that we're going to run to another wire right over here. So we're going to plug it in to right over here. This one just got a little clip. You just grab, pops right off like that. We're going to plug in Hansshows in here. Goes right in, and then we're going to plug the original Tesla into the tap-in.
Here is the positive. We ran it directly up here, so we'll just probably zip tie it onto a couple things here to make it nice and tidy, and then we'll zip tie everything down here below, but we tied it in right there on the battery nut.
We got our ground over to that one. We've got everything plugged in that's supposed to be. This is the brains that make it all happen. We're gonna bring it into the wire harness, the main section right here. This purple, you're just gonna pull it out. That releases it. And then we're gonna plug it right in. Close it so it's nice and secure. It beeps, that means it's turning on. All right, fingers crossed, this is the big moment. So you can operate, or you can even do it on your app. All you have to do is the normal controls on how you open and close it, and it will activate the motors, and the power struts will bring it closed. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the app to go ahead and see what happens here. Uh-oh. That didn't work. Oh, it popped off. Right here at the top. Damn it, that was my side.
That was not my side.
Dang it. We think we got it fixed. For whatever reason, the passenger side strut that, yes, I was responsible for, wasn't on super tight, and it just popped off when I was trying to pull it closed. We went ahead and tested it by doing it inside the vehicle, and it closed fine, as you can see, no issues. So let's give it another test and see what happens here. We're gonna hit the frunk button, open.
There it is.
Oh snap. Test it again, let's close it. Pretty snazzy.
Actually, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Mike went ahead and he zip tied the wires to the side, so this is the power for the passenger side strut is going along the side there. The battery terminal just kind of goes and hangs down, but there's plenty of slack there, so when we put this in, it's just gonna be no tension on the wire. Everything over here we just kind of tucked down underneath. Right down here is where we put the harness. Right back there, you can see the module. The motor is right there, and then the module I tucked away and put it up against the main bumper bar back there, and then the wires all just kind of tuck in underneath. So the one thing that you want to make sure that you remember to do, this is the plug for the emergency button that sits on the inside of the frunk. So you want to make sure that that kind of sits right around here, because you want to be able to access it when we put the frunk in, so we can pull it through and reconnect the button again, so you're good to go. It is a little bit of a pain in the butt to get it to rest back in these clips, so you just got to kind of be careful. There we go. Take your time with it, make sure it sits in nice and flush. Yep, looks good. Here's our emergency button cable. We are still able to access that through there, so we're good to go there. Perfect. You just press down and you'll hear everything kind of clip in. All right, let's give it the final test. You go ahead and you press the normal frunk control button and then click yes, go ahead. Boom. She closes great.
Beautiful thing.
And then you can also power it.
I think it's even better.
Really? You can also do it and power it right from inside the car through the main screen. Frunk open. Go ahead and hit that. And it opens right away. It's awesome, guys. Super easy. As you can see, it works really, really well. Spike, what do you think about the overall install? Was it I mean, it wasn't complicated.
No, I don't think it was too bad. A couple of close spots, but aside from that, just be careful with your plastic, I think is the biggest message that I have.
Yeah, and be careful with your sockets because, yeah, Elon stole one of those from me. It's really not that bad. It's a pretty easy install, guys. I think pretty much anybody could do it. It's just a matter of making sure that you take your time with it and just making sure everything clips on the right way.
Yep.
Everything looks pretty good, though, so we'll give you the review after about a week or so, and we'll let you know how it is. So, yeah, we'll see you then. Hello.
Hey.
You didn't think we were going to make it through the entire video without Michelle, did you? So, we've had the Power Frunk now for a little while. What are your thoughts?
It is really cool. My gosh, my little kids not having their fingers on that front trunk and the little fingerprints all over, that is my favorite part. But super easy to use. You just go right in your phone, push that button, up it goes down on its own. It's absolutely incredible.
Or you can use the screen if you're already in the car and you're just popping it to grab something real quick on your way out somewhere.
Yep.
I always worry about when the kids are closing the frunk, whether they're like slamming it and they're gonna destroy. Now you don't have to worry about it. You hit the button, it does it for them.
Yep.
Or you don't have to worry about, did they not close it? It's awesome. I gotta say, so I give it 5 stars.
I'm impressed that you actually got it installed.
Why the doubt? It was easy breezy. Everybody saw it.
But I agree with you. I would give it 5 stars as well.
Yeah, awesome job. Nice work, Hansshow. Speaking of which, Hansshow has hooked up the LockettTech viewers with a special discount. Most YouTubers that have done a video about this Power Frunk, because this is pretty much the #1 Power Frunk out there, have only been able to get 10%. Hansshow has hooked up LockettTech. I went to bat for you guys, and we were able to get you guys 15% off if you purchase it through them directly and use the discount code LockettTech. All capitals, all one word. It's right here for you down below. Just use LockettTech and you'll get 15% off anything you order from their website. It doesn't necessarily have to just be the Power Frunk. You can get one of the adapters or all the other cool things that they make. I think I am excited to check out the kick sensor for that Power Frunk too.
Me too.
I knew she would like that. So we'll do another video follow up on the kick sensor. If you are going to order the Power Frunk, I do recommend just get it all at one time. That way when the frunk is open and you got it out and you're in the middle working everything, it's just an easy quick connect to the wire instead of having to pull it all out later.
But now he gets to have fun again.
Thanks. Maybe we'll give Spike a call for that too. It is awesome. The Power Frunk is super easy. It's very durable. I can't recommend it enough, guys. And an awesome 15% off. Can't beat it. Hopefully you found this video helpful. And if not, at least entertaining. Not quite sure how helpful the install part was, but I'm sure it was entertaining. So if you did, please smash that like button, guys. It truly does help out our videos and we greatly appreciate it. While you're down there, if you're a fan of Tesla videos, both informative and entertaining, make sure to subscribe to the channel too while you're down there, guys. Saturdays 10 a.m. is when our videos go up. Thanks so much as always, guys, and we will see you in another one.
See you later.